Hi there, Wolt Chums. Before we get started with this episode, I wanted to share some exciting news. Earlier this year, I partnered with the team at Lose It to write a course called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Weight, a mindset-first approach to lasting weight loss. This is a premium course for Lose It, but now through the end of October, our friends at Lose It are offering this as a complimentary gift for our friends at Wolt Place. So if you were thinking about joining Wolt Place, We Only Look Thin Place, our Facebook-based accountability group for women, this is the perfect time to do so. Again, now through the end of October, new and existing members of Wolt Place will be receiving this as a complimentary gift. So head over to weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for join our support group, sign up, and you will qualify for this amazing offer. I'm so proud of the work I did on this. I want to thank the team at Lose It, Sarah and Hannah, for including me in this project. And now we will get on with the show. Thanks for listening. Hello, and welcome to another Islands in the Stream episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel, one of your hosts. I am a Tiny Habits certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach. I have co-written a course for Lose It. That's right,
you have.
I'm saying it. I have lost over 120 pounds and kept it off for over 6 years, one of those. And I am the Dolly Parton to the Kenny Rogers sitting next to me. And that Kenny Rogers' real name is
Donald Weigel, and I am not gambling with your affections.
Oh.
The gambler, get it? Kenny Rogers, and that's very funny, the Islands in the Stream.
Thanks.
I have lost about 100 pounds. I know you like me to say all the stuff before I start trying to be funny. I have lost about 100 pounds. I've kept it off for 5.5 plus years. And I am here to talk about it.
Yep. And do you know that the first and only time I ever did karaoke,
I don't know if I knew you did karaoke.
I did.
I wasn't there to witness it.
You were not.
Oh, no.
It was terrible.
I wanted to see that.
Do you know
so
that?
bad.
Okay, aside from holding a plank,
Yeah.
the longest stretch of time that ever happens
Yeah.
is doing karaoke when you realize you have no singing voice.
You sung Islands in the Stream with a coworker.
No. I sang
Okay.
The Gambler
Oh, you did?
by Kenny Rogers with
Did I know this?
Tina.
Did I know this? Did
I-
you tell me this before?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. This
I-
is amazing
I went
information.
to, we'll call it Sacktown. Sacramento.
Oh, no. We won't call it that.
Sacramento, California. It was Christmas time, and one of our clients was having a Christmas party.
And that Christmas classic, The Gambler by
no,
Kenny Rogers.
we were at a tapas restaurant.
Oh my God.
I know, it's terrible. We were at a place we were doing. It was actually a music magazine that it was a party
yeah.
for. That's where I got that Juliana Hatfield poster from.
Oh, yeah.
From back for. Okay, anyway, so they're having a party, and karaoke was the party, and there was actually a guy there. He was the secretary at the receptionist at the office.
Yeah.
And he did the most rousing version of Hey Jude. Like the entire restaurant was singing it. He was fantastic. Followed closely by my coworker, very good friend, saying, "Ooh, Katherine, we should do karaoke. Let's sing Kenny Rogers." And I was like, okay. We sang The Gambler. Do you know that there is more than just the Hold'em and Fold'em part?
I probably.
There's a lot more. Like he goes into the restaurant and he sits down and then he orders.
Yeah.
And
I know
it
you're
keeps
sort of bringing it back. And
go-
he gets some chicken
It's like a
nuggets
19-minute song.
with some ranch dipping sauce.
And then they- yeah,
then
and
the
then they-
waitress goes away
and
and
they-
she brings back some water.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
It never stops.
Yeah.
And you don't really understand how like finite your life is until you're like up there going like, oh my God, this is happening. And there's no way for me to discreetly stop.
So why do you happen to bring this up, dear?
Well, because this was in the before times, the before I was losing weight times. But, you know, when you're up there on stage, you really consider your life's choices.
Yeah.
And those questions, like knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, really sink into your brain.
Oh.
And so that, all these years later, is why knowing when to hold them is really important. And
I see where you're going with this.
yeah, so the holding them, or know when to wolt them.
Know when to wolt them, yeah.
See, we're turning everything into a song.
Yeah.
But we are going to talk about knowing when to hold on to certain things in your weight loss journey.
So what does that mean? This episode is about, we're going to give you roughly eight things that are more important than you probably think they are.
You got to hold on to them.
Yeah.
What do I need all these aces for? I don't know when to hold on to these. I don't play poker.
Yeah, I think people know that aces are important.
They do. Okay. I am not.
This is like, you think this card is like a 3 of clubs.
Okay.
But actually, it's a jack of spades. Yeah, or something. Or a king of hearts. I don't know.
Ace of spades. I know Ace of spades.
Yeah, Ace of spades.
That's a good song.
Yeah, that is a really good song.
That's a banger, as the kids would say.
That is a banger. That song slaps.
Do you think Lemmy and Kenny Rogers would have been friends?
No.
In the stream?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. I would pay just about anything to hear them do a version of Islands in the Stream, though.
Oh my gosh.
That would have been amazing.
Hearing Lemmy, R.I.P., sing The Gambler. That probably would have been a banger also. But yeah, we've come up with some things. You got to keep them in your hands, everybody. Keep them front and center wherever you are in your weight loss journey. And we are going to start it out with Donald Weigel. Donald Weigel.
Yeah, without further ado, there's been lots of ado.
No, there's a little more ado.
Yeah, there's been
Donald,
lots of ado.
What is it?
So the first thing that is probably more important than you think it is, the thing that you need to hold them.
The ace in your pocket?
Yeah, is
your sleeve?
Sleep. Did you say sleep? Did you spoil it before?
No, I said sleeve.
Oh, sleeve.
Oh, what is it, Donald? Let's start again. Donald Jr. Weigel, what is more important? What is the ace of your sleep?
It's your sleeve. Your sleeve is more important than you think.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with us?
It's sleep.
Sleep.
It's sleep.
With a P.
And I, never my whole adult life got into my 40s without realizing how important good sleep is to your weight loss, fitness, and just general overall health and well-being. And that is not just getting enough of it. And this is the part people really hate.
Yeah.
It's having a consistent bedtime makes a huge difference in how refreshed you feel the next day. If you're constantly going to bed at different times, if you're, I was going to say 9 p.m. one night, but we're the only ones who go to bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
9 p.m. one night and midnight the next, and you're like all over the place and you're shortchanging yourself on sleep. It is very difficult to then focus on your health and fitness tasks. It's much harder to maintain an exercise routine, to prep food, to think clearly about the food decisions that you make if you are not well rested.
Well, and when tomorrow actually starts? It starts tonight. Tomorrow starts tonight.
Yeah.
Because and this is the whole you need 7 hours, everybody. Whatever number of hours is less important than the consistency of it, because my tomorrow starts with tonight's habits. If I end up staying up late, watching TV, losing track of time, suddenly it's 1 o'clock in the morning, guess what? I sleep through my alarm, and then I don't have time to put my lunch together, and I forget my workout clothes. And so I end up showing up at work late, which is what would happen. But I would always stop for a donut,
right,
and a coffee.
No, you had time for that.
Yeah.
You didn't have time to get more sleep, but you had time for the donut stuff.
But you know what? I didn't have time to put my workout clothes together. Oh, I didn't make my lunch. I've got to go get takeout, and then you get home, and the cycle repeats itself. And that's what happened to me for decades. It wasn't that I didn't have enough time. It's that I didn't budget my time well. And now that we've gotten to the point, we were not morning folk.
Right.
I would be struggling out of bed at 7:20.
We are now, though.
Yeah, we are now. But waking up early to get things done has been helpful for us. Or even if you stay up late, take that time to prep for tomorrow. Whatever, it's that there's not like this perfect time or whatever, but make sure that you are setting yourself up for success for tomorrow by starting with that tonight.
Yeah, and one thing that has really helped me is to really think of sleep as self-care. Like, I used to think of sleep as punishment, and it would be sort of that hour, 2 hours before I would actually turn the light off. I would think of that as me time. This is the time for me. And really thinking about the fact that going to sleep, that is the best thing I can do for myself, not watching another like rerun on local channel 13.
That is a good point.
Thank you. Okay, so what's the next one?
The next one is, and this is a banger, just like Lemmy might say.
Just like Islands in the Stream.
Exactly. Is being honest with yourself. I honestly used to think I was a victim of all the things in the world. I've said it before, but being honest with yourself about your intentions, why you're doing things, not blaming others for your actions. Well, I couldn't help myself. They brought in cookies. Like, it is my responsibility. I am the only person who puts things in my mouth, and blaming your circumstances, the people around you for your choices is not effective. The minute I started taking accountability, like, I am eating this because I really like the taste. I am eating this and not tracking it. And it is something that I am doing to myself. It's not because I'm too busy or that other people are in my way. And the more I self-narrated, honestly, like, and dispassionately, it really helped me be less of a victim.
Yeah, and I'm saying things in just a slightly different way than Catherine did, but I used to use like, oh, I'm having such a stressful day at work as an excuse to eat. And it wasn't until I really like was honest with myself about, okay, is it really the stress? Like, do you need that food for comfort, or do you just want an excuse to have whatever that food is? And it wasn't until I really got honest with myself that I stopped tricking myself. Now, sometimes I might still eat for comfort or to soothe myself, but it's much harder to do that on a consistent basis when I'm really being honest about it.
Well, and two, even just saying, I am eating this because I don't want to deal with my feelings. Is much better than, oh my gosh, they made me overeat, because we're the only ones responsible for what we're putting in our mouths. So that honesty is important.
And another quick example of that is I used to tell myself all the time, I don't have time for this. And the real way to phrase it is I was not making it a priority. Like, I was choosing other things to be a priority as opposed to my weight and health and fitness goals.
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing that is more important than you probably think it is, and we've done quite a few episodes on this. So if you've listened to all of them, maybe you do think it's as important as it is, but that is setting boundaries.
Yep.
And this one, really, I think I was probably, even at my goal weight, or, and even beyond, before I really appreciated how significant boundaries were. Like, every time I was saying yes to something, I was having to say no to self-care or to myself. And, really setting boundaries with especially my time, but also with my emotional bandwidth, like not letting people belittle me for what I was eating or talk about the food that I'm eating, like, or just, if I say yes to something now, I have to really mean yes, rather than saying yes and then just being resentful and having a terrible attitude about it the whole time that I do it. has really been crucial in me achieving and maintaining health and fitness goals.
Well, and as a recovering people pleaser,
Yeah.
I definitely would feel responsible for Donald's mood, our daughter's mood, the state of the nation. Like, I took everything on as my responsibility, and it does not help to pick up a boulder when someone else is holding a boulder. That is not reducing their stress, but I would take one on and then suddenly absorb their emotions. And setting boundaries with my emotions and with my responsibility or feelings of responsibility, I think really helped our relationship too.
Yeah.
And again, owning your reasons for saying yes and saying no. If I say yes to something, I dive into it and mean it, and I don't hold resentment, because that's not fair to anyone to like do things resentfully and then just eat about it. So that is really big. Saying no is a really big one, or even just saying, I'm going to have to get back to you so you can get some space from it. We've done lots of episodes on boundaries. Dog, the Boundary Hunter is one of them.
Yeah, I think that was the original OG, and probably the first year we did that one.
Yeah, so boundaries are definitely huge. And coming in at number 4 is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's right, AKA getting in movement all day. They say that sitting is the new smoking, and smoking is also not great, but being able to be active in any way throughout your day matters. Just going to the gym for 20 minutes a day, which is what I used to do, and then I would purposely sit and, park as close as possible and sit as much as possible. It used to be like exercise was a thing I did for as little as possible, and then I would just sit. But now we move as much as possible throughout the day. It really helps with bringing up your total calorie burn for the day, and it keeps your body moving. It's really important.
Yeah, and that, involves developing a mindset of don't go extreme with it, or at least try not to, but developing a mindset of how can I get the most movement out of the action that I'm going to take. And at this point in my life, it's just sort of automatic for me. And it's like, well, okay, I've got 3 things on the table that I need to take back to the refrigerator. I could pick up all 3 of them at the same time, but I would get more movement if I took them one at a time from the dining room into the refrigerator. Or, like Catherine said, parking farther away instead of driving around looking for the closest parking spot, or leaving your grocery cart in one spot and going to get items one at a time and bringing them back to the cart. And, obviously, if you're short on time, you have to make adjustments, but taking the stairs instead of the elevator, but always thinking about how you can get some movement. And it's all those little tiny calorie burns throughout the day. They add up to huge calorie burns over the course of a day, a week, a month, a year.
Well, and 2, I used to say I didn't have time to work out, so I would do nothing. So if I can't go to the gym, it's raining, whatever, I would just sit all day. It physically hurts now to sit for hours and hours. And for me, the older we get, our joints start creaking.
Yeah.
It sounded like something I'd say for Halloween. But
when creaking joints ring throughout the house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but it is important for my mobility as I age to continue moving. It helps with circulation. It helps with mood. It really matters to just move. And before I would say I can't go to the gym, what can I do? Could I go check the mail 3 times before? Yeah, sure. I'll just get out and move around a little bit. We have a little library in our neighborhood. Sometimes, like last night, beautiful night out, really hot. We just walked over to a little library, say, "Hey, little library, what's up with you?" It didn't answer because it's a little library.
Yeah.
I like to anthropomorphize houses.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But being able to get in movement matters throughout your day. The steps really add up. Your mood will improve and your steps will improve. And just walk into the drugstore is a good thing to do. Just getting in little bits of movement throughout your day matters. If you can't go to the gym, it doesn't need to be consistent. Oh, well, people say you've got to get in 20 minutes of cardio, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, just move around. That's it.
Yeah, and Catherine alluded to the fact earlier that there have been many studies that are, the more and more are showing that the more you sit, the more detrimental it is to your health. The idea of that sitting is the new smoking. That sitting all day can damage your health as much as smoking does. Okay, so the next thing that is probably more important than you think it is the language you use, or how you talk to yourself. If you're saying things like cheat days, or
Ooh.
I've been so good, or I just can't do it, or I'll never learn, or there's something wrong with me, or as I mentioned earlier, I just don't have time, versus saying that's not a priority for me. Like, how you talk to yourself really matters. If you are constantly telling yourself that you can't do something, then you're going to be right.
Yeah.
If you tell yourself that you can do something, if you show yourself kindness, if you think about talking to yourself in the way that you would want someone to talk to your loved ones, because, you should love yourself. It is important to love yourself, and showing yourself kindness and grace and encouragement leads to results in the practical, real, outside your head world.
Well, and to questioning yourself. If we just give into, I can't do it, I don't have time, all of those things, we're not being critical thinkers. And being able to really go, is that true? Or is that just what you're telling yourself? Is really a big deal. Getting into coaching myself and self-coaching is about asking yourself questions and reframing things. So instead of, I don't have time to do this, how can I make time to do this?
Right.
I actually just listened to an audiobook that I really liked, but one of the quotes from it was, success comes in cans. Failure comes in can'ts. Oh, boom. There we go.
I didn't know where that was going.
So, but it's that I can't do it yet. How can I make this work? Changing and rephrasing that, what would make this easier? How could I change up my routine? How could I make this simpler?
Right.
Where could I start? What would be the first step? Those are giant growth mindset questions to ask yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So number 6, this is a really big one. Really, really big. So get ready. You're tucking in. Donald's like, what's she going to say?
I actually am not sure what she's about to say.
Sharing your struggles and your successes with the right people. There are always going to be people who diminish your accomplishments.
Oh, yeah.
There are going to be people who prey on your weaknesses.
Yeah.
These could be friends and family, even yourself.
Yeah, with friends like these.
Yeah.
Enemies.
But knowing who deserves to hear your story, knowing who you can trust with what your struggles and your successes are matters. If you have people in your life who belittle you for, wow, I thought you were on a diet, or, oh gosh, well, you lost weight, but that's not going to last. I've had people, boyfriends who said that, oh, you've said that before.
You had boyfriends before me?
Yes.
This is an outrage.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson. Don't you worry. But the big thing I've learned, and part of this is that boundaries element, is not everyone can be trusted with your successes or your failures. Some people will judge you negatively. Some people will diminish your successes. And for me, I didn't know that I needed, and this is in all earnestness, I didn't think I needed a support group when I was losing weight. I was like, I'm doing this. I got the calories down. I've got things going. I didn't realize I needed an accountability group until I joined one myself. I was there to just be like, well, I'm doing fine, but I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And it ended up changing my life.
Literally sweeping giant changes to her life and then consequently my life.
Yeah. Now, Donald needs less of that than I do. But for me, I really thrive in supportive communities.
Well, I have you, which almost feels like I was about to say cheating. I think I might need more of that if I didn't have you constantly
yammering,
giving me one who would like to stay married would not say yammering. But I feel like when I need that support or when I need those ideas, I feel like I've got you right here, which not everyone has.
Well, and I think part of that too, and we did an episode recently about, really paying attention to the content that you consume. So Donald, for example, is on Reddit quite often reading about weight loss things. For me, interacting with people in Walt Place, We Only Look Thin Place, our Facebook-based accountability group, really helps me stay present in my in my weight loss journey. And being able to share your struggles and be recognized and acknowledged is important. And not everyone needs to know what you're doing. You might have someone like my grandmother, who I loved with all of my heart. I tried on a shirt once and it was tight. And I said, well, I'm losing weight. And she goes, well, honestly, you're never going to lose enough weight to fit into that.
Yeah.
Like, that was not, I loved her so much. She was wonderful, but she wasn't perfect. And she was not the right person to share my weight loss journey with. And it doesn't mean that, not everybody, deserves to be in your life, but not everybody needs to know all about you.
Yeah. Or even just at work. And this is a hard one to curb, but I would make a salad or bring a salad to work, and almost daily somebody would be like, oh my goodness, that's such a big salad. How's somebody going to eat that big salad? Like,
oh my gosh.
That's what you're having for lunch?
Friggin'
that
Goldilocks.
Big giant salad? Yeah. Like, okay, so what's the perfect amount of food that I should eat?
Right. So you're eating a cookie? That's not on your diet. You're eating a salad?
That goes back to boundaries, know, and I have gotten much better at actually saying to coworkers, like, this is, my food choices are not really your concern.
No, and I love the Goldilocks analogy of just like, okay, obviously you're the arbiter of the perfect size of all things.
Right.
Like, that is not the case. So the right people, you don't want Lucy taking the football out from under your feet. Make sure you're sharing with the right people. Pay attention to how you feel when you share information with certain people who might not be the best shepherds of your trust. So
absolutely.
All right, Donald.
So the next one. Wow, I sound like I'm in trouble when you say it like that. So the next one comes directly from the Gambler song. You got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, and you got to know when to pivot or be flexible. I'm 99.9% sure that those are the lyrics to the song. But seriously, pivoting and being flexible are much more important than you probably think they are.
Huge. When
you are completely stuck that you have to do something 100% a certain way, whenever obstacles come in your path, and I've done this, I used to do it all the time, and I used to end up going back to the being honest with yourself part, I used to end up using those sorts of things as an excuse rather than pivoting, trying something different, or having a backup plan that I could be flexible to. I would just throw up my hands and say, well, there's nothing I can do. Look, life is just getting in the way. Like, people are coming to visit me. There's no way I can maintain my weight while people are coming to visit me.
Yep, this is just proof that I can't do it. This is just proof.
My boss is gonna pay for lunch for everyone today. Oh well, there's just there's nothing I can do about this now. I guess I might as well not even try and lose weight.
Yep, and that just adapting, modifying, being flexible. This isn't 2 weeks ago, this was going great. This week is super busy and it's not going to work. How can I modify it? How can I still keep myself moving forward instead of just saying, okay, I'll wait until next January, which is what I did for decades.
Yeah,
of this isn't the right time. There is no, all of this time is your time. And it doesn't take any more effort to eat a carrot or an apple. Just do that and things will be better. So,
Although I am the guy who needs to have my carrots pre-washed and ready to go right out of the bag, or my apples pre-sliced and
no, but I've talked about this before. That idea, I'm going to make mason jar salads. I'm the mason jar salad girl, and then
mason jar salad girl.
And then the next week, the lettuce goes bad,
right?
And then suddenly you're not the mason jar salad person. See, I thought my life was transformed. Okay, you know what? I can't do that this week, but I still have that bag of petite baby carrots.
Yeah. And look, it takes a lot of practice. It takes, you have to work out your mind and your mindset as much as you need to work out your body. But learning how to develop backup plans for the situations that are going to come up in life and ways to pivot and change. Well, this week, I just cannot get to the store to buy fresh vegetables. Oh, okay, I've got some, lucky frozen vegetables in the freezer as a backup, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. So we're going to finish up with a big one.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of another word than big. So.
Catherine refused to tell me what it was, so I wrote down the ring-a-ding-ding.
Yeah, ring-a-ding-ding. So this might be the biggest thing that is more important than you think it is. It's never giving up.
Ooh,
There
yeah.
is no I in quit. We did an episode. There is nothing to quit. You don't just rip up like health goals, done. I can just sit forever and there'll be no impact. If you quit a job, there is something on the other side of that. There is something that needs to be filled. If you move out, you gotta live somewhere. And for us, I used to think that there was this big quit, like, oh, I'm quitting tracking, I'm quitting weight loss, I'm quitting the group, I'm quitting
goodness,
Weight Watchers.
Did this so much.
Quit, it's over. And I am not, like, I use plans like Weight Watchers or tracking calories as a tool in service of my health goals. And whether you quit Weight Watchers or you quit tracking calories, you are still responsible for moving your body, being an independent person in the world, and eating food. And whatever it is you think you're quitting, there is something on the other side of it. And for me, I quit Weight Watchers 20 times and gained 100 pounds in the process.
Yeah.
Because, I went over my points. It's not fair. Oh, someone came to visit and I didn't track. It's not fair. I'm up on the scale this week. That's it. I quit. Why bother? Why bother? Because I gained 100 pounds waiting for this magical moment where I became a new person. And the only way we stay accountable is by pushing forward. When you go away for a week and you don't track, you are not quitting. It is a pause. It is not a quit. Start again as soon as you can. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for next year. Don't wait for after your birthday. We are responsible for our choices 24/7, 365 days a year. And the more we get used to the idea that this is our life, this is unlike the gambler. I almost said Tony Danza. I don't know why. Unlike the gambler. I know, it was like the gambler and then Kenny Rogers. I don't know.
You don't know whether he's the boss
Hold me
or
closer,
Kenny Rogers
Tony
is the
Danza.
boss. Or, yeah.
But we are the boss. There we go. I'm pulling it together. You're the boss of your choices. And whether you're tracking or not, you still feel the way you feel when you eat certain foods. You feel the way you feel when you move your body or you don't. And the older that we get, the more important it is to not see this as a game like the gambler, but to actually realize that you're holding and folding your whole life in the islands in the stream of your hands.
Yeah, and you could, the islands in the stream of your hands. And look, you can gamble with...
Oh, there we go.
With quitting your health and fitness goals, but I guarantee that you will come up snake eyes with your health problems.
Boom!
Because I quit in air quotes trying and got up to the heaviest weight of my life and then ended up with type 2 diabetes. And trust me, like, now I have to spend the rest of my life dealing with type 2 diabetes. Like, you can in air quotes quit, but your health problems will not quit you.
Nope, there's no walking away from YOU. So
yeah, you can walk away from the table, but not yourself.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode and not walking away. knowing when to hold the play button as you're playing this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, all of our episodes, this was episode 298.
Whoa!
I don't know. I keep harping on it because I feel like 300 is a big deal to me. This is episode 298. Almost all of them are, almost 300 of them. They are all, every one of them, still available wherever you found this one. We are available on all of the major podcast platforms, and also you can find them anytime on our website at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep, and if you are at weonlylookthin.com, you can click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about Wolt Place. Wolt Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. It is a private group out of the prying eyes of maybe your aunts and uncles and grandparents on Facebook, whoever's still on Facebook.
Those people we were talking about earlier who belittle your accomplishments and choices.
Exactly. We are a safe place. We are not a weight loss plan, but we are a place for accountability, check-ins, honesty, sharing successes and setbacks. None of this is linear. We have good days, we have bad days, and we're all there to support one another with understanding. We do challenges, we do food posting challenges, check-ins on weights. It takes away all of the stigma of all of the things that are really hard to talk about in public. So we have 2 subscription options, a monthly option with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if Wolt Place is right for you. And as we said earlier at the beginning of the episode, I worked on a course for Lose It this summer, and it is a premium course offered through Lose It, but Lose It is offering this course at no cost to our Wolt chums in Wolt Place. So if you have been thinking about joining Wolt Place and needed an extra push, this is a great time to join because you will receive this course complimentary with your Wolt membership in the months of September and October 2023. So sign up, join Wolt Place. If you're a current member, you're going to get this already. So yay for you. But yeah, you can find out more by clicking on that link. So give us a join.
Yeah, and it is a really great course, and it is worth paying for just on its own. Catherine contributed a lot to it, and it is really great. I don't think you'll find anything else like it out there. It really focuses a lot on mindset, and I think that is, unless you're listening to our show, I think that is an undervalued part of this whole thing. Most people just take a paint by numbers approach to health and fitness, and this goes that other step, giving you the important mindset part of it.
Yep.
So check it out. Also, you can check us out on social media. You can find us at We Only Look Thin on Facebook and Instagram, or you can send us an email if you would like to hit us with a shout out, if you'd like to give us a compliment, episode ideas, questions. We've turned a lot of listener emails into episodes of the show. If there's something you'd like to see, something you feel like we haven't talked about enough or talked about for a while, or maybe you just don't know that we've done an episode on it, give us an email to weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep, and if you have a couple of extra minutes, head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a rating and a review. Not only does it let us know that what we're doing matters, but it also helps others find our podcast. We so appreciate every single star and every single review. I read every single one of them, and thank you so much to members of Reddit, communities, and Lose It for giving us shout-outs recently. It really just means so much to us.
Absolutely, it does. And another way you can really help us out is just to tell somebody about the show. If it comes up in conversation, if you know somebody that you think would enjoy our show or get something out of it, we would appreciate you telling them about us. Or if you're on an online group, Catherine mentioned that I'm on Reddit quite a bit on various weight loss groups on there. There's a Calories In, Calories Out group that I really like. A lot of good people giving good advice on that group. And if you're in a Discord server, a Facebook group, something like that, and you could give us a shout out, it really helps the show grow.
It sure would. So if you're still trying to decide if Lemmy should do a remake of The Gambler or Kenny Rogers should do a remake of Ace of Spades, just remember that Donald and I are
an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.